Hello, grade 11's accounting student. I know you are preparing for your June exam, which you are taking on Thursday, if I recall very well. So please be with me as I'm joining you in your preparation. Hopefully, you will find my lessons to be very useful in this topic. I'll be looking at the question which was written in Gauteng. It is June 2024, paper 2, accounting question paper. I'm going to share my screen so that you can sit with me. This is the provincial exam. Actually, it is June 2023, grade 11 accounting paper 2. We will be looking at the bank reconciliation statement. That's the first. Okay. The first we'll be looking at the bank reconciliation statement. Now, before we even start with the question that you see on the screen, let us talk about the bank reconciliation. What is bank reconciliation? We must be able to define the bank reconciliation, or we must have a bigger picture of what is this bank reconciliation. A bank reconciliation is a process whereby we compare the books of the business. We are going to compare the books of the business, or let me say the records of the business. Let's use the word records instead of the books. But okay, whichever you use will still make sense. Is the process where we compare the records of the business with the records of the bank. The records of the bank. We compare the records of the business with the records of the bank. That is bank reconciliation. Okay? What are we talking about here? Why do we have to compare the records of the business and the records of the bank? And which records of the business are we comparing with the records of the bank? Which records of the business? The records of the business, I'm referring to the journals. I'm referring to the journals, which is cash receipt journal and the cash payment journal. So we compare these journal books of the business with the bank statement. The bank statement is the record of the bank. With the bank statement, we compare the journals, CRJ and CPJ, with the bank statement. Okay. Let me say this because I want you to understand what actually is happening. When the business receives money, they record the money that they receive in the channel which is called the cash receipt channel. And what they do, they deposit the money that they have received into the bank. So let me say here is the business. It prepares the CRJ. When they receive money, they take the money which they receive, they deposit into their bank account, which means that the bank will be aware of the money which the business has deposited and will record that money in the bank statement, actually on the credit side of the bank statement. Okay, guys. Actually, in the bank statement, the credit entries are good for the business. If you are reading your own personal bank statement, when you see the credit entry there, you should smile because obviously it represents the money which you have deposited. In this case, the money which the business has deposited will appear on the credit side of the bank statement. So, if everything is done accurately, whenever we record 500 in the cash receipt journal, the same 500 should also appear on the credit side of the bank statement. So if this is not the case, let's say in the cash receipt journal, there is 200. But when we go to the credit side of the bank statement, we don't find this 200. We have to investigate. We have to check what actually is happening. Maybe the business incorrectly recorded this 200 in the CRJ, or maybe the bank did not present this amount in their bank statement. So we are going to compare this journal and the bank statement. And what appears on the CPJ, what we record in the cash payment journal, must also appear in the debit side of the bank statement. So if in the cash payment journal there is 350, even on the debit side of the bank statement, they must be 350. Why? We are saying there is a payment that we have made of 350. We record it in the cash payment channel. And let's say we paid electronically. It means 350 must come out of our bank account. That should be debited on the bank statement. Even the bank must be aware that these guys 350 came out of the account. They used 350 to make payment. So when we record in CPJ, that entry must also appear in the bank statement. Now, we will question whenever we see the entry in the CPJ, not in the bank statement. We will also question whenever we see the entry in the bank statement and not in the channel. So actually, let me say this. I want to bring this to your attention. Let's say we have got an entry which appear in the bank statement, but not in the channel. It appear in the bank statement, but not in the channel. What are we going to do here? Let's say this entry appear on the credit side of the bank statement and not in the channel. Let's say it is actually 250 on the credit side of the bank statement, but this 250 it is not recorded in our channels. What's happening? Okay, if we have a credit entry in the bank statement of 250, that amount must also appear in the cash receipt channel. So if it's not appearing in the cash receipt channel, we will have to record it in the CRJ. Because the entry, it is in the bank statement, it is appearing in the bank statement, but not appearing in the cash receipt journal. We have to put it in the cash receipt journal unless the bank mistakenly recorded a credit of 250 by mistake. So if it is the bank's mistake, we are going to rectify that mistake in the bank reconciliation statement. So all the mistakes that the bank does are going to be rectified in the bank reconciliation statement. And all the mistakes that the business does by not recording in the journal, maybe the bookkeeper mistakenly did not record in CRJ. So those mistakes, we are going to update them in our channel. So the mistakes of the business are updated in the channel. The mistakes of the bank will be updated in the bank reconciliation statement. So this bank reconciliation statement, it is very simple, guys. You have to use it to pass your paper 2 accounting. Okay, now let me go to the process which we normally follow when we prepare the bank reconciliation statement. Let me say bank reconciliation process. Bank reconciliation process. For sure, by now, you have an idea of what is this bank reconciliation. A comparison of the bank statement with the channels. And we know that they actually have to agree. If they don't agree, something is wrong. So let us look at the bank reconciliation process. Bank reconciliation process. I'm going to say there are 3 steps. I'm going to say step 1 of the bank reconciliation process. It's where we compare the bank statement with the channels. And guys, let me also bring this to your mind. We don't only compare the bank statement to the channels. We also compare the bank statement to with the previous month bank reconciliation statement. So we are going to compare the credit side of the bank statement with CRJ, compare the debit side of the bank statement with CPJ, and also compare the bank statement with the previous bank reconciliation statement, the bank reconciliation statement of the previous month. So in the step 1, it's where we compare. We compare the channel with the bank statement. And this step in your exam, when the question paper comes, it will be done for you. It means that they will say after comparison, meaning that they have already compared the bank statement with the channel. So they have done the first step for you. So you will have to do step 2 and step 3. What is step 2 of this bank reconciliation process? In the step 2, it's where we update our CRJ. It's where we update our cash received journal and also update our cash payment journal. Yes, it's very necessary to update our channels because remember, after comparison, we will find the differences. Some of the difference will be like they are entries which we did not put in the channels. And those entries which we did not put in the journals must be recorded in the journals. So we have to update our CRJ and also update our CPJ. I'm saying this again. After comparing the bank statement with the channels, it might be necessary now to put entries in the channels. Those entries which were appearing in the bank statement but not in the channels. We need to update our channels. We have to make sure that what is in the bank statement, it is also in the channel. So we have to update our CRJ and CPJ. Now, after updating your CRJ and CPJ, still in the step 2, you will have to calculate the correct bank balance. We will have to calculate the correct bank balance. So we will need now to prepare what we call a bank account. The preparation of the bank account enable us to calculate the correct bank balance. So what we do, we take the total of the cash receipt channel. Remember, we updated our CRJ. We are going to record it on the debit side of the bank account, the total of CRJ on the debit side of the bank account. And we also take the total of the CPJ and put it on the credit side of the bank account, the total of the CPJ. And whenever you open a T account in accounting, you should not forget to record the opening balance. The opening balance might be on the debit side, might be on the credit side. So I will just say balance brought down. In this case, I'm just putting it on the debit side. Then from here, you're going to close your account. You're going to identify the closing balance, which will be the correct bank balance. So remember, in step 2, we update our CRJ, we update our CPJ, we calculate the correct bank balance by opening the bank account. Okay, in step 3, in step number 3 of this bank reconciliation process, it's where we prepare the bank reconciliation statement. Let's say we have the debit side and we have the credit side. And guys, Step 2 and step 3, it's what you will have to do in the exam. Step 1, we will do it for you. We will give you the information after comparing, or the difference that appears after we compare. So you have to update your CRJ, you have to update your CPJ, you have to calculate the correct bank account balance. Then you prepare your bank reconciliation statement, which is the last step of the bank reconciliation process. Now the question is, what do we record in the bank reconciliation statement? Okay, you are welcome to Academic World by Impatela TL. This is where we teach you accounting grade 11s, and this can also be useful to grade 12. Now, in the BRS, we are going to record what we call outstanding payments. It can be outstanding checks, it can be outstanding EFT. We record on the debit side of the BRS. So I'm saying on the BRS, we are going to have some outstanding payment. It can be outstanding check or outstanding EFTs. Will be on the debit side. And on the credit side of the bank reconciliation statement, we are going to have what we call outstanding deposit. But why? Why outstanding payment on the debit side? Why outstanding deposit on the credit side? Let me take you to part 1 of this bank reconciliation process. Step 1, where I said is the step of comparison. When we compare, I told you that we are going to compare the credit side of the bank statement with the cash receipt journal. Now, if we notice that there are entries which are appearing in cash receipt journal, let's say there is 250 in cash receipt journal, and this 250 in the cash receipt journal, it is not appearing in the bank statement. And the business actually did deposit this 250. There is no mistake of recording 250 in CRJ. So this appears in CRJ, but it is not appearing in the bank statement. And I'm saying this 250 in CRJ, it is not a mistake. It appears correctly and it should appear. The bookkeeper did well by recording 250 in CRJ. The question is, why is this 250 not in the credit side of the bank statement? Remember, grade 11s, I said if you have an entry in CRJ, that entry must also appear on the credit side of the bank statement. So if it is not there in this case, we can say maybe there is a mistake from the bank. The bank has not yet presented this 250. So we have to show it in the bank reconciliation statement as an outstanding deposit. On which side? On the credit side. Because this 250, it is missing on the credit side of the bank statement. So it must go to the credit side of the bank reconciliation statement as an outstanding deposit. And this is where now accounting, especially this bank reconciliation topic, becomes very simple. Once you see something appearing in the journal in CRJ, but not in the bank statement, you know that it should be in the bank statement. We have to put it now in the bank reconciliation statement. Remember, you don't have an access to the preparation of the bank statement. You don't prepare the bank statement. The bank statement is prepared by the bank. So what we can do as a business, we can rectify the mistakes which the bank has made in the bank reconciliation statement. We are simply saying this is what the bank was supposed to do. They were supposed to present the credit entry in the bank statement of 250. And guys, remember, what is appearing in CRJ must appear on the credit side of the bank statement. And what appears on CPJ must appear on the debit side of the bank statement. So that is why the outstanding deposits are on the credit side, because they have to be on the credit side of the bank statement. Okay? And okay, now let me make this reconciliation simple to you guys. Pay attention to this, what I'm going to say here now. This might make this English, guys, is not our mother tongue. This, what I'm going to say, might make this reconciliation simpler. I'm saying, check. We have compared for you. We are telling you that something is appearing in CRJ, but not in the bank statement. It's clear that we have to record it in BRS, unless there is a mistake made by the business. Maybe the business recorded an entry in CRJ by mistake, and we will be very specific. If the business made a mistake, we are going to tell you that no, it is the mistake of the business. Now, let's say something appear on the bank statement, but it is missing in CRJ. What you do? Simply go and record it in CRJ. Okay, let's say you are comparing the bank statement with CPJ. Something does appear in CPJ, but not in the bank statement. And the business did not make a mistake by recording it in CPJ. It means we have to put an entry in BRS. Let's say an entry appear in the bank statement, but is not in the cash payment channel. What must we do? We must update our cash payment channel. We must record it. Whatever that is not appearing in CPJ, we must go to the CPJ and record it. Okay, so grade 11s, I think we are now ready to start reading the information. Okay, before we read though, let me just erase what I've written here. Okay. Reading the question is very important. 1.2.1 say update CRJ and CPJ total in the tables provided. I told you that in step 2, we update our CRJ and CPJ. So they are testing something of step number 2. They want us to update CRJ and CPJ. They want us to calculate the correct bank account balance. I said that is also step 2. And then they want us to prepare bank reconciliation statement. That is the last step in the reconciliation. Okay, let us update the CRJ and the CPJ. That is 1.2.1. So when you update your CRJ and your CPJ, you are going to look for entries that appears in the bank statement but are not found in the channels. So that's the first thing that we are going to look for. We look for the entries that appear in CRJ, that appears in the bank statement, but not in our channels. We know that those entries, we need to record them in the channels. They are missing in the channel, put them in the channels. Okay, so actually our CRJ will be like this. Will be CRJ, we will be CPJ. We are going to update our CRJ. We are going to update our CPJ. My detail, I'll just have detail and amount, and have detail here and amount. So, but the first thing that we do when we update our CRJ, we have to start with our provisional total. So I'm going to record the provisional total of CRJ and record the provisional total of CPJ. So let me check on the information if I have these provisional totals. Okay, if you read information B, we see those provisional totals there. They are saying before inspecting the June bank statement, the provisional totals in June 2023 cash journal were the total of CRJ must be 116,400. So you see here, I said CRJ detailed provisional total. Here, the provisional total must be 116,400 in CRJ. And in CPJ, you must record your provisional total, which is 132,500. So when you update your CRJ and your CPJ, you must start with the provisional totals. Okay? The good thing is that they will give you the answer book. And guess what? In this case, these provisional totals in CRJ and CPJ, they have already been recorded. This is your 116,400 is the total of CRJ, 132,500. So when we update CRJ and CPJ, we start with the provisional totals. Now we are going to read the information and check. Oh, sorry. Did I lose my question paper? Where is that paper? Oh, it's here. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to the information. Let's use this information. Okay. That was information B. Let's just read information A as well. The information A says the bank account in general ledger reflected a debit balance of 21,800 at the beginning of the month. 1 June 2023 is the beginning of the month. We are preparing bank reconciliation statement of 30 June 2023. So 1 June 2023 is the beginning of the month. This might be implying an opening balance. An opening balance of the bank account. And how much is it? It's 21,800. This is going to be useful in our step number 2, where we calculate the correct balance of the bank account. You still remember I said you need to update CRJ, you need to update CPJ, and you need to calculate the correct balance of the bank account. Actually, if you read the question here, they say calculate the correct bank account balance, 1.2.2. Calculate the correct bank account in general ledger. So I'm saying this is going to be my opening balance, 21,800, when I calculate the correct bank account balance. Okay, let me just record it right away here. I'm saying when we calculate the correct bank account balance, we will need to record on the debit side of the bank account. I prefer to use T account. So you say balance brought down, balance brought down 21,800. Actually, let me do this. Let me do this. I want to annotate it here. So I'm going to open my T account, bank account. How much? I'm going to say balance brought down 21,800. This is the opening balance. You write it on the debit side. Okay. That was the opening balance in the bank account. Let's go back to the question. Okay, we used the information A, we used B. Now let's use information C. The information C says the bank charges of 1,150. And guys, I want you to know what makes the bank charges. Because in other cases, they can do this. They can just give you something like this. They can say service fee, it's 500. Maybe they say cash handling fee, it's 50. Maybe they also say, what else? They are, once you hear anything to do with fee, just know that it's a bank charge. So you take all your bank charges, you add them. In this case, I just only showed you two. Okay, maybe they can also say a transaction charges. Let me say 20 rand. You add all this, they make your bank charges. In this case, is going to be 570. So you need to know which element makes the bank charges, what we find in the bank charges, what we consider to be the bank charges. So in this case, the examiner gave you right away the bank charges. This one was kind. He said the bank charges is 1,150. Now, guys, what did I say? I said to you, if something is recorded on the debit side of the bank statement, must also be recorded in the cash payment channel. So if we find in the bank statement, if we find 1,150 on the debit side, the same 1,150 must be found in the cash payment channel. Now, okay, but sometimes you have to know that a bookkeeper is a human being, is a person. Sometimes maybe might make the mistake. Instead of recording 1,150, the bookkeeper might make a mistake of not recording it. Or maybe the bookkeeper is not yet aware of the bank charges. So in that case, the bookkeeper won't record 1,150 in the cash payment journal. The bookkeeper will only record when he or she starts to be aware that there is a bank charges. So in this case, let me just put XX. What I'm saying 1,150. It is recorded in the bank statement, but not in the cash payment channel. Let's hear actually if that's what they are saying here. A bank charges of 1,150. Let's leave this part of the interest a little bit. An interest on a debit balance of 220 appeared on the bank statement, but not in the channel. So you see, this is appearing in the bank statement, but not in the channel. We have a bank charges, which is appearing in the debit side of the bank statement. They won't tell you in this case. They expect you to know that a bank charge is a charge to the business. So I said to you, whenever you see on the bank statement a debit entry, you don't smile. It means money is going out of your bank account. So in this case, when the bank charges us, they will put that bank charges on the debit side of the bank statement. So they say 1,150 appear on the bank statement, but it's not in the channel. So we have to record it where it is missing. It is missing where? In the channel. They don't tell you which channel. You have to know that it is missing in the cash keys. Sorry, guys. It is missing in the cash payment channel. So you have to go and update your CPJ and say there is a guy missing on CPJ. How much? 1,150 for the bank charge. And in this case, it is not only 1,150 of the bank charge which is missing, there is also missing interest on a debit balance. They said also it is not appearing in the channel. So there is another guy, interest on a debit balance. I believe this is an interest on a bank overdraft of 230 ASKIS. They are missing in the cash payment channel. So I have to go and update my CPJ because they are missing in CPJ, I have to go and update my CPJ. So, okay, how much is the figure? 150 and 230. So I have to come to my cash payment journal and record what is missing. I said there is a bank charges of 150, which is missing. Oh, what's happening? I want to record 150, which is a bank charges. And there is an interest on overdraft of 230. Don't be lazy. Write in full interest on overdraft 230. Bank charges is missing. Interest on overdraft also it's missing on CPJ. So we update our CPJ. What's happening? Guys, I'm doing okay. 150 and 230. Now let's go back to the information. Information D, an EFT, electronic fund transfer received from a debtor. Okay, we are receiving money from a debtor. We are receiving it electronically. And it happens that the bookkeeper might not be aware that the business received money. So I won't be surprised if they say this EFT is not recorded in the cash receipt journal. Okay, so and if it received from a debtor was correctly recorded as 5,300 on the bank statement, okay, this is recorded on the bank statement. Can you guess which side of the bank statement? Surely it has to be the credit side of the bank statement. Why? Why am I saying the credit side? Because the business is receiving money. So whenever the money gets into the account of the business, the bank will put it on the credit side of the bank statement, simply saying, you business, you are a creditor, I'm holding money for you. This is not my money. So the business record that amount of 5,300, which the business receives from a debtor on the credit side of the bank statement, and they are saying this was correctly reflected. So the bank statement did not make mistake. This is correct. Okay, but they're saying this was incorrectly recorded as 3,000 in the cash journal. In which journal? Obviously, the money that we receive, we record it in the cash receipt journal. So, but we recorded it incorrectly as 3,500. So instead of recording 5,300, we recorded 3,500. So the cash receipt journal, it's undercast. It's in shortage of how much? Let me calculate. I'll say 5,300 minus 3,500, 0, 0, 13 minus 5, it's 8. Okay, I'm left with 4, 1,800. So 1,800 is in shortage in cash receipt journal. So I have to go and record in my cash receipt journal. Okay, I have to go and update my cash receipt journal. Let me update my cash receipt journal, 1,800. This is the money which the business is receiving from a debtor. The mistake was in the cash receipt journal. The cash receipt journal was in shortage. That is why we rectify our cash receipt journal by putting 1,800, which was in short. Yeah, that's a deep English, in short. Woo. Okay. Let's go to E. A deposit of 2,190 received on 25 June 2023 for sales was entered in cash receipt journal as 2,910. These guys, they keep making mistakes here. Bookkeeper, you will need to to minimize your mistakes, because you, bookkeeper, we received 2,190. Why did the business receive 2,190? Because they sold goods. Because they sold. So, and they have to record this money in the cash receipt journal. So, but they made a mistake. Instead of recording 2,190, they recorded too much. They recorded 2,910. So this 2,910, which they had put in CRJ, because the business was receiving money, need to be pulled down, need to be decreased to how much? To 2,190. So the question is, how much must I decrease 2,910 with so that it becomes 2,190? It will be the difference between these two. Okay, 11 minus 9 is 2. Okay, 8 minus 1, it's 7. I believe it's 720. So the cash receipt journal was too much by 720. So how do we decrease the cash receipt journal? This is very important. If you want to pull down the cash receipt journal, you must put the entry in the cash payment channel. So in the cash payment channel, I'm going to record 720. So I'm going to go, what was it for? And if it was good, was okay, a deposit of receipt 2020 for sales. Okay, for sales 720. Okay, I'm going to record in the cash payment channel 720. Why do I record 720 in the cash payment journal? This is my way of decreasing my cash receipt journal. This is how you pull down your CRJ. You pull down CRJ by putting in CPJ entry. Okay, accounting. That's a nice accounting there. Interesting stuff. Oh, I'm messing up with grammar. Thank God I'm not an English teacher. So let's go to F. A debtor transferred 1,000 directly into the bank account of Zulu Stores. Okay, they transferred 1,000 into the account of the business. This appeared only on the bank statement. This is a giveaway. This is a giveaway. A debtor in this case transferred 1,000 into the account of the business. So the business is receiving money, but this is appearing only in the bank statement. And I told you, what appear on the bank statement must also appear in the channel. On which side of the bank statement is this going to appear? It's going to appear on the credit side, because this is the money of the business. The bank is just holding it for the business. This got into the account of the business. It is a debtor who is paying the business. The money belongs to the business, does not actually belongs to the bank. That is why the bank, this money, when they record it, they will put it on the credit side of the bank statement. So it's supposed to appear on the credit side of the bank statement and also in CRJ. But they are saying it's not appearing in CRJ. What must we do? We are the future accountant. We need to update the CRJ because it is missing 1,000 which we have received from a debtor. So we are going to go to the CRJ 1,000 and update our CRJ 1,000. We received it from a debtor. So I'm updating my cash receipt journal. Guys, there is no way something appear in the bank statement and and it does not appear on the channels. Actually, if it's appearing on the statement and not in the journal, it's clear we have to put it in the channel. We have to record it in the channel. It is where it is missing. Where is it missing? In the channel. You have to put it in the channel. Sorry. So that was F. Now we are going to G. On G, they are saying an annual insurance premium in respect of the owner's personal vehicle. I'm going to circle the word owner's personal vehicle. We are paying, the business is paying insurance for the vehicle of the owner. This is a drawing. This is a drawing, and actually, this is against what we call business entity rule. Do you still remember business entity rule? The affairs of the owner should not be confused with the affairs of the business. The business on its own, it's a personnel. So the records of the owners must be separate to the records of the business. Okay, so in this case, the business is paying for the vehicle of the owner, which he used for his personal stuff. This is drawings. This appeared on the bank statement. Okay, so there is a payment which is appearing on the bank statement. So the business is making a payment. The money is getting out of the account of the business. This is where the bank statement will put an entry on the debit side. Do not smile when you see the debit entry on the bank statement, because it represents your expenses. It represents that the money is coming out of your account. So here, the business is paying for insurance, and they are saying this amount is on the bank statement. Surely it's on the debit side of the bank statement. And they are saying this is not recorded in the channel. How do I know? They are saying it's appearing on the bank statement only. So we have to record it in the CPJ. The business made a payment of how much? Of 1,440. I have to update my cash payments journal with 1,140. To me, it's a drawing. Cash payment journal, it's a drawing. 1,440. Did I record it well? Yeah, 1,440. So adjustment number H. A debit order for a cell phone data. There is interesting word here, debit order. Accounting student, we need to know what is a debit order, and we also need to know what is a stop order. We must be able to define these two. A stop order is an instruction to the bank to make payment on our behalf. It's like we are telling the bank, can you please pay on our behalf this company? So that is a debit order. We instruct the bank to pay on our behalf. We say, pay on our behalf. Make a payment for us. You are having our money. Use that money that you are holding for us to make a payment. So what is a debit order? A debit order is an instruction to the third party, not to the bank. An instruction to the third party. We are telling the third party, it might be an insurance company. We are saying, we are giving you a right to withdraw money from our account. Okay, so they are saying stop order, normally it is fixed amount. A debit order can be variable, it can change. So, okay, we know that a debit order, with a debit order, money will come out of our account. This, if the bank record this, is going to record it on the debit side of the bank statement to show that actually we are making payment to someone. And we will be paying for cell phone data, okay? Okay, 1,840. Here they are saying it's a debit order for cell phone data. And they say it was not recorded in the cash journal. Obvious. Put this in CPJ. Put this in CPJ because money is going out. We are paying for data. The business is paying for data. 1,840. And then they are saying it was also incorrectly duplicated on the bank statement. Oh, in the business, in the channel, it is not recorded. Let me start with the CPJ entry first. That's a simple entry. In the CPJ, I have to put 1,840. So let me go to my CPJ, put 1,840. It was for what? For cell phone data. Okay, if we go back to the information, we notice that there is also the mistake made by the bank. There is a mistake made by the bank. It was incorrectly duplicated. So the bank statement, the bank recorded this twice. It was duplicated. What did they do? They deducted 1,840 twice. So what's happening actually on the if we go to the bank statement, on the debit side, we will see 1,840, another 1,840. So the bank made the mistake. Where do we rectify the mistake made by the bank? We use a bank reconciliation statement. Bank reconciliation statement, it is there to rectify those mistakes which have been made by the bank. So what happened? They debited 1,840 by a mistake. The first debit, we don't have a problem with it. But debiting it again, that's a mistake. We need to rectify this. We are going to say, wait, put a credit entry. Put a credit entry of 1,840. We know that this credit entry of 1,840 is there to cancel this mistake. This two is more like they are canceling each other. You want to remove a debit entry on the bank statement, put a credit entry. So we record on the bank reconciliation statement. Okay, this was, let me go back to the information. It was, where was I? It was H. Yes, a debit order incorrectly duplicated. How much? 1,840. So I'm going to go to the bank reconciliation statement. 1,840. I'm going to go to the bank reconciliation statement. I'm going to record on the credit side, 1,840. I'm removing a debit entry which was placed on the bank statement by mistake. Okay, guys, the bank reconciliation statement and the bank statement, they don't differ that much. Actually, the bank reconciliation statement is trying to rectify the mistakes on the bank statement. It's just we are not responsible for preparing the bank statement. We cannot say this is the bank statement, but we say it's a bank reconciliation statement. So they had placed a debit entry on the bank statement by mistake. We remove debit by putting credit. So we say, okay, incorrectly duplicated. Incorrectly duplicated. You have to specify what is it that was incorrectly duplicated. Let me just check. A debit order was incorrectly duplicated. You can say debit order incorrectly duplicated. You write 1,840. Do not be confused by this. Let me just erase this. Let me erase all the stuff here. You only see the credit entry of 1,840. Okay, grade 11s. Okay, now let's go to I. A deposit for 22,500. Money for sure it's getting into our bank. They are depositing money for the business. If the bank present it, it has to be on the credit side to show that the money of the business got into the account. Was not reflected in the respective cash journal, but it appeared on the bank statement. This is simple accounting. It is on the bank statement, but not in the journal. So where do we record it? In the journal. The trick here is that they don't tell you which journal is affected. So you have to know that it's a deposit. The money is coming into the business. So you record it in the cash receipt journal. So 22,500 in the cash receipt journal. So I have to go to cash receipt journal, update my cash receipt journal, 22,500. If I remember the figure very well. Yes, I'm going to record here and say 22,500. That was a deposit made. They did not tell me what the deposit, what is it for, whether it was for a debtor, was it a deposit from a debtor, was it a rent deposit, was it a deposit because we sold? I don't know what the deposit is it for. So but we know that cash receipt journal must increase by 22,500. It was missing in CRJ. We put it in CRJ. 22,500. Did I record it correctly? Did I record 20? Yes. Okay. So now let's go to J. A deposit of 12,700 dated on 20 June 2023 was not reflected on the June 2023 bank statement. Interesting now. Interesting. This item, this deposit, it is appearing in the journal. It is appearing in the cash receipt journal, but it's not appearing in the bank statement. And there is nothing that tells us that the business made the mistake by recording it in CRJ. So there is no mistake of putting it in CRJ. So we have to record this in BRS. This is an outstanding deposit. I told you, if something appears in CRJ, it must also appear on the credit side of the bank statement. So if it's not on the credit side of the bank statement, we have to go and record this item which is missing on the bank statement, but you cannot put it on the bank statement. You put it in the bank reconciliation statement. How much? How much? 12,700 is my outstanding deposit. So I'm going to go to the bank reconciliation statement and say there is an outstanding deposit. Outstanding deposit. Sorry guys, I'm lazy to write. Please write in full. You say outstanding deposit. You put it on the credit side because it is missing on the credit side of the bank statement. So put it on the credit side of BRS. It's an outstanding deposit. So what is appearing in CRJ but not in the bank statement, we treat it as an outstanding deposit. So let's go to K. The rent of 9,200 received on 30 June 2023 was recorded in the relevant cash journal from a proof of payment received, the receiving a proof. So I don't think the bookkeeper made a mistake when he or she recorded 9,200 in CRJ. Remember, they are saying it's recorded in the relevant cash journal. They don't tell you in which journal. It is CRJ because we are receiving money. So the bookkeeper recorded it in CRJ because we were receiving money from the tenant. This did not appear on the bank statement. Oh, it is appearing in CRJ, but not in the bank statement. This is also outstanding. Okay, this is rent income outstanding. The bank did not present it. You can go to the, how much is it? 9,200. Let's go to BRS and say, you can even say rent not yet presented. Not yet presented by the bank. And where must the bank record it? Where must it be on the bank statement? That was the rent income. We recorded it in CRJ. It must be on the credit side of the bank statement. 9,200. Back to the question. Now we are going to L. The following EFTs, all dated 30 June 2023, were not reflected on the bank statement. These are the outstanding payment. Surely these EFTs, we did record them in CPJ. This is an electronic fund transfer. We did record them in CPJ because the business is making payment. The business is paying. It is using an EFT to make a payment. All payment of the business must be recorded in CPJ. So I believe these EFTs have been recorded in CPJ, but they are saying they are not yet reflected on the bank statement. They don't yet appear on the bank statement. Okay. Okay, they are saying they are dated 30 June 2023. Maybe it's because we received the bank statement on the 29th. So we cannot see the transaction of the 30th on the 29th. No way. So maybe that's the reason why they are not reflected on the bank statement. And if they are not there on the bank statement, we have to put in the BRS. We have to call this an outstanding EFTs. So I'm going to say outstanding EFTs. Okay, let me record this outstanding EFTs. Let me say outstanding EFTs. I've got EFT 778, which is 6,200. I have got 791, which is 520. I have got 797, which is 1,260. I'm going to present this outstanding EFTs in the bank reconciliation statement. Okay. So you say outstanding EFTs. We're going to write them numeric in order. We start with 778. They must be on the debit side. You say 6,200. Another one, it's 791. It must be 520. Another one, it's 797. It must be 1260. These are the payments which are not yet reflected on the statement. So it means I said to you, these EFTs surely are recorded in CPJ. And remember, what we put in the CPJ must appear on the debit side of the bank statement. So don't be surprised when I'm putting these outstanding EFTs on the debit side of the bank reconciliation statement because they have to be on the debit side of the bank statement. Now let me erase this. This should not confuse you. Let me erase so that you see your bank reconciliation statement. It contains outstanding deposit. It contains outstanding deposit. It contains outstanding payments. Okay. Okay. Let's go and read the information again. That was L. Now we are on M. On the May 2023 bank statement, the interest amount of 355 received from the bank for a positive bank balance was duplicated by mistake. Oh, we need to read this one accurately. They are saying on May 2023 bank statement. This is last month. The interest amount of 355 received from the bank for a positive bank balance was duplicated by mistake. So last month, the bank made a mistake. They recorded the interest income twice. 355. They recorded it twice, and that's the mistake. The error was corrected on the bank reconciliation statement for May 2023. Or when we were preparing BRS of the last month, we did show that there was a mistake on the bank statement. We showed the mistake on BRS. Remember, the mistake of the bank statement are presented on the bank reconciliation statement. However, it was found that the error was not yet been corrected by the bank. Wow. This happened last month, and even this month of June, the bank has not yet corrected the mistake. You know what we're going to do? Continue putting it in the bank reconciliation statement until the bank rectifies the mistake. The bank was given the assurance that the error will be recorded in July. They say they will correct the error in July, but we just have to show it in the bank reconciliation statement that the mistake which was made on May, it is not yet rectified by the bank. How much is the amount? 355. So I'm going to record it on the bank reconciliation statement. The question is where, on which side? Because there was a duplicate of an interest income. Normally, the incomes or the receipts of the business, we normally record them on CRJ. So it means they recorded it twice on the credit side. So they recorded it twice on the credit side of the bank statement. We need to remove one entry on the debit side, 355. Okay, so interest income duplicated by mistake. I'm going to record it. Interest duplicated. Interest income duplicated. It was written twice on the credit side by mistake. How do I know? Because it's an income. The incomes on the bank statement, the incomes of the business on the bank statement are normally recorded on the credit. So it means they duplicated it on the credit side. So we have to put the debit entry of 355. Yes, 355. 355. Okay. Now, and the bank statement closed with a balance of, oh, now I think I just have to wrap up my work. I will go to, I will go to my cash receipt journal. What am I going to do? I'm going to add all the money that are recorded in CRJ. Add all the money of CRJ. I need a calculator here. Let me see, calculator. Yes, calculator. I have a calculator, but now I no longer see my weight. Okay, 1,800. The first is 1,800. Let me erase this color here so that it does not distract me. I have 1,800 in CRJ. I have to add it with 1,000. I have to add 1,000. I have to add, how much again must I add? 22,500. I have to add 22,500. Okay, plus. The total is 25,300. So I'm going to say there is a total of 25,000. How much? 25,300. 25,300. Then we also have to calculate the total of the cash payment journal, starting with 1,150 and go to 230. 1,150 plus 230. I'm adding all the cash receipt journal plus, let's look, 230, 720 followed by 1440. We have to add, no, something is wrong. Let me say equals to, and then I want to start over the, let me say 9 plus 6 equals to, okay. Yes, let me start over calculating the cash receipt channel. It's 1,150 plus 230 plus 720. 1,150, 1,150 plus 230 plus 720 plus, let's check what, how much must we add? Plus 7 plus 1440 plus 1840 plus 1440 plus 1840. This is my 5080. This is the total. It's 5080, but I think I forgot to add 132,500. So it's 5080. I have to add 132,500 plus one. Remember, that is the provisional total, the one at the beginning. So it's 137,580. This side, it must be 137,580. That is my total of cash payment journal. What about the cash receipt journal? I think I also forgot to add 116,400. So I will say 25,300 and add 116,400. 25,300, 25,300 plus 116,400. It should be 141,700. So here it should be 141,700. So this is my cash receipt journal. So the total of CRJ, I'm going to put it on the debit side. I will say total CRJ. You put on the debit side of the bank account 141,700. You put the total payments on the credit side. How much? 137,580. Then what you do, you close the account. You get the balance carried down, which you must also bring down. The balance brought down. So you're going to compare the bigger side. So in this case, the credit side is the bigger side. So let me say 0, 0. I'm adding on the debit side. I see 8 plus 7, it's 5. Carry 1, I'm going to have 3, 6, 1. So it's 163,500. So you take 163,500, you subtract your total payment, you get the balance carried down. I'm just going to write the wrong figure here. You will calculate it. Let me just say, suppose it's 12,000. So this balance carried down, you're going to bring it down. So this amount, it must be also be the same with the balance in the BRS. So you can go to the BRS, this 12,000, the balancing figure in the bank account. You go to BRS. Now you say the balance as per bank account. That was 12,000. It was on the debit side. So you have to put it on the credit side this side, 12,000. Then you compare in order to find the opening balance. The balance as per bank statement. As per bank statement. You compare, the balance might be on the debit, might be on the credit. You just take, in this case, just take everything that is on the credit and subtract everything that is on the debit. I think the balancing figure will be on the debit side. You just take all the credit, you subtract all the debit, you find the balance as per bank statement. That's it. Grade 11's accounting. Tell me how it goes. Tell me if you find this lesson useful. I'll see you next time. What you can do for me, guys, please, 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 you can subscribe, like, and share. And whenever you see an advertisement, don't skip it. This is how you can be supportive to Academic World by Mpatele TL. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you next time.